So what if aspartame is a carcinogen? Yes, I just said it. Some of y'all are probably wondering if I've lost my mind, but yes, I did just suggest that it doesn't really matter to me if aspartame is a carcinogen. All right, before you all think I've totally lost my mind, let me introduce myself and then I'll dive right into it. For those of you meeting me for the first time, I'm Dr. Amina Goodwin, a physician and health coach, and I help you to figure out how to eat better so that you can feel better and get on with your life without having to be stuck in doctor's offices seeing people like me. All right, let's get on with it. Aspartame, it's been in the news this past week, came out that it is a potential carcinogen. Of course, a carcinogen is something that can potentially cause cancer. And the WHO is considering putting some warnings on aspartame, limiting its use and so on, recommended use and so on and so forth. Meanwhile, the FDA is suggesting maybe that it's not a carcinogen, the evidence isn't strong enough, the studies were flawed, etc., etc. But who cares? I certainly don't. I don't need an organization to tell me if I should or should not eat something. I think generally speaking, we are all adults and we can look at the information available to us in a relatively objective fashion. Now, why I don't think it's a big deal with this aspartame? Because there are numerous carcinogens in the environment, in our foods. We all are exposed to carcinogens every single day. So for me to hear that aspartame is the latest one, it doesn't matter to me, okay? And I'm gonna explain why. Now, with aspartame, of course, again, just a little, just to back up a little bit, aspartame, of course, is a non-nutritive sweetener, meaning that you can take it and it does not cause, you don't get any nutrition from it. And that's because it does not get digested, so it doesn't get absorbed from your intestines, all right? Aspartame is 200 times as sweet as regular sugar. And incidentally, this is interesting, it was discovered because a scientist was looking at some chemicals to treat, I think, stomach ulcers. And he licked his finger to turn his page on his lab book and realized, oh my goodness, my finger is totally sweet. What is this thing that is so sweet? And that's how they found it out and purified it and whatever. And we got aspartame because, wow, diabetics can have this thing and not have to worry. They can literally have their cake and eat it too because it does not get absorbed into their system, right? But as with anything that tastes good or, you know, is good or whatever, it can be abused. And the taste for sweet things is certainly something that can be easily abused because the sweet taste is an addictive taste. And thing about sweet taste as well is that, like opioids, you can develop tolerance to it. So you need more and more sweet things, right? Because you taste it less and less. And proof of that is that when you have weaned yourself off the taste for sweet and then you get something that you were accustomed to having, a cookie or something, in many cases it tastes sickeningly sweet, okay? So that's how we know that we develop tolerance to sweet things. So aspartame, they probably started noticing things, you know, maybe a little correlation here and there, and I am thinking that it has to do with the fact that people are taking more and more to satisfy the urge for sweet things because the body's craving for more and more and more. And there are other factors too, possibly also the fact that when you're taking aspartame, you're not getting the actual calories, the sugar, and your brain is like, where is it? Like, I tasted something sweet, I'm still waiting for it, I need it, right? All those things. But coming back to my point about the carcinogenicity, the claims for that is a potential carcinogen. Look, several things. For a carcinogen, it's not like okay, I take it and I will get cancer. There are many factors that contribute to cancer. One of them is how much of, what's the dose of whatever the potential carcinogen? What is the dose? How much are you taking? Are you taking, drinking 12 cans of diet soda every single day? Because with that, you're going to get obviously a way higher concentration than somebody who might take up a can of diet soda every few days, all right? So what is the concentration of that potential carcinogen that you're taking in, all right? Second, how frequently are you taking it? Like I alluded to, are you taking it every single day or once in a blue moon, right? Now, another thing as well is how, does the good outweigh the bad in your life? You might be taking a relatively high amount of something, but if you're taking more of those things that support your body and enable it to cleanse itself and eliminate bad things and so on and so forth, then it's not as big of a deal, right? So your exposure, how often you're exposed, the dose of that potential carcinogen, how well is your body able to eliminate those things, and you know, how much do you take care of your body, and also what maybe genetically some people might be more prone to suffering from the carcinogenic effects of a certain thing than other people, right? So there's so many factors at play. Additionally, we have cells going rogue every single day, cancer cells, but because we mostly have a good immune system, our immune system gobbles up those cells just like it gobbles up germs and destroys them so that cancer doesn't actually take hold, right? So a lot of factors determining if a carcinogen is going to cause cancer in person A versus person B. Many people go into the sun, but hardly anybody gets skin cancer, right? So it's just the whole picture together, you making sure that the good outweighs the bad, right? So like me, I might end up taking something with aspartame, unintentionally, of course. I wouldn't do it intentionally, but I recognize that as long as I'm dining out sometimes or getting things from people, there's always going to be that risk that I am going to ingest a carcinogen. Am I going to lose sleep over it? No, I'm not, because I know that the good outweighs the bad, and I support my body to the point where it's able to really recover and recuperate and maintain good health. So many other carcinogens. I mentioned UV light, ultraviolet rays. There is BPA. That's another thing. Of course, they're having it. There's, I think, a rule where you can't have BPA in plastics, right? But that's a carcinogen. Formaldehyde. People have these fancy hair blowouts and get exposed to things like formaldehyde. But you know, what is it that you want? Beauty or whatever. And then they might be thinking, well, it's not a high dose and it's not a frequent exposure, so I'm going to take that risk of being exposed to formaldehyde. Cigarettes, one of the biggest and most common carcinogens. In fact, I'm still surprised that people still smoke cigarettes, knowing that literally their chance of cancer is way, 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 way higher than other carcinogens. But they still smoke the cigarettes nevertheless, right? Viruses, human papillomavirus, that's another carcinogen. So many cancer drugs, same chemotherapy drugs that treat one cancer can actually cause the generation of another cancer. So there are lots of carcinogens that we are exposed to. We make informed decisions, and there are carcinogens that we, take in intentionally, like alcohol, ethanol, ethanol is a carcinogen, but are we going to binge? Most of us are not going to binge. I have had alcohol. I will have alcohol in the future, right? So we have to sort of approach this and look at the whole picture, and also realize that it's not like we can't be reductionist about this whole thing, right? We have to always know that there are multiple factors, and we basically, one of the real big points I want to impart to you all is that you don't need to wait for any organization to tell you what you can and cannot have. So in my opinion, it doesn't matter whether or not the FDA bans it. In fact, I know they're not going to ban it. There's so much money out there behind these artificial sweets. It's like a multi-billion-dollar industry. Anything that generates so much money is not going to be banned. So we don't need to wait for FDA or wait for the WHO to ban these things or to recommend limits. They're saying we shouldn't have more than 40 milligrams per kilogram body weight of aspartame. There's no way for us to know, because the labels do not tell us the concentration of aspartame in these foods, right? So I would say where there's smoke, there's fire. Personally, I believe that. I have always been against artificial sweetness. If I'm going to have something sweet, I'm going to have the real deal. I'm just going to do it in a way where I get collateral benefits along with whatever the sweet is, all right? But, take care of your body. Have lots of wholesome fruits, vegetables, right? Where you have antioxidants and vitamins and minerals and so on, so that your body is able to quickly and efficiently handle whatever negative things that might come its way, so that it doesn't have to succumb to any cancer or any other disease. I hope you all found this helpful, and thanks for watching. As usual, I am asking you all to subscribe to the channel. That actually helps me reach more people, believe it or not. It has to do with algorithms and so on. So thank you all for watching. Thanks to all 300 plus of you who have subscribed so far, and I hope to continue coming to you all with hopefully valuable information in the future. Bye-bye.